I'm here. It's Mornings with Maggie, and here I am on Friday. And Friday on Mornings with Maggie, it is book talk. So let me just do my little, obligatory intro. I'm Maggie Shayne. I'm an author and kind of an informal life coach. I teach about law of attraction, but I also write romance, which is the most wonderful thing I think there is. So I do these Facebook Live posts Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We call it Mornings with Maggie. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I am here with you, and I had my shot set, so I'm wiggling back and forth to get where I was comfortable being. I have to be close enough to see the comments, but far enough away so, the eyes, the age thing. So anyhow, Mornings with Maggie, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And on Mondays, we talk about the law of attraction and how you can, on Mondays, we have Storytellers Masterclass. And in those posts, we give mini writing workshops. And this coming Monday, we will be talking about promotion and marketing and the value of giving free books to your readers and things like that. So if you are an author, especially an independent author, and you want to know my secrets of how I'm doing this quite successfully, more successfully than I ever was when I was traditionally published, I'll tell you that. Tune in Monday morning at 10 a.m. On Wednesdays, we talk about the law of attraction, which is my other passion in life, and it's pretty much how I got to where I am. And we do that also at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays. And on Fridays, it's book talk. And today we are talking about one of my, probably after Wings in the Night. Oh, I can't. I was going to say it was one of my favorites, but it's in the top 4. They're all my favorites. It's like picking a favorite child. But The Immortals is the series we're talking about today. And I do believe that the first book of that series, Eternity, was one of, if not the best book of my entire career. And I've published more than 60, and I kind of stopped counting at 60, so we might be edging up towards 65 maybe. I don't know. I need to go back and do a recount. But this Eternity there was something about eternity. So that series is what we're talking about today. So these books are kind of different from anything that's really out there. They're about half historical and half contemporary because the Immortals, hence the name, you get to see them in their past and where they come from, and then you get to see them in the present. And the stories are it's not like backstory. There's vital stuff happening in these books. So I want to show you the very first cover for the very first book in this series. And good morning, Tayana, and I thank you for that. She says she loves my books, and I'm really glad to hear it. So let me show you this. This, and if I can hold it up so you can see it, and I'm not sure how the light, there, how's that? This was the original cover for Eternity, and they got the design of the goddess image on the cradle moon from a necklace that I had. I photographed the necklace and sent it to the art department at Berkeley, and they used it. And then book 2 was Infinity, and there's that original cover. Now, you can't really get these now unless you find them used. They're out of print, and I got the rights back. So I've published them, republished them myself, and they are available in print, and they are available in ebook, and they have gorgeous new cover art. But I don't know if I'll ever top that Eternity cover because that was beautiful. I was just wondering this morning if I could convince Berkeley to sell me the rights to that, just to maybe have it as a poster or something. Good morning, Elizabeth. Hello, good to have you here. Good morning, Cassie. Very nice. And if you follow the comments, folks, my assistant, Jessica, is posting the links to these books in the comments as we go along. And the reason she's doing that is because we don't want anyone to miss the fact that book 1 of this epic series is free in ebook right now. It's free at Kindle. It's free at Barnes & Noble for your Nook. It's free at Kobo. It's free at iTunes, at the iBook store. You cannot currently get it at Google. We're having some contract disputes with Google, so we've pulled all our books from them, but we hope to get them back up soon. So those links are popping into your comments. So let me tell you a little bit about the creation of this series. First of all, I was looking for something paranormal besides my vampires, because I was very, very loyal to Harlequin. Other publishers were coming to me asking me to write vampire novels for them, and I was currently writing my Wings in the Night series for Harlequin. And I said repeatedly, and editors will verify this, I feel loyalty to Harlequin. They got me started in the vampire field, and I'm only writing vampire novels for Harlequin. And I really have not strayed from that until after we parted ways, and I did do one vampire novella for Berkley, and that was after Harlequin and I had parted ways, and I was continuing with the Wings in the Night Reborn series independently. And so I did one of those for Berkley, because I didn't think that was breaking any vows, because I was only cheating on myself because I was publishing them independently at that point. Good morning to Elizabeth. She says, Elizabeth says, Nidaba and Inatum are two of her favorite characters. Thank you. Nidaba is one of my favorite characters too. You know, I always like the bad girls, and Nidaba, she was a real bad girl. So in fact, she was villain. She was a villain in the earlier book, and then, you know, was redeemed. So there's all that. We have a lot of fun with these books. Ashley, good morning. She's so in love with Wings in the Night, she says. And thank you so very much for such strong female characters. You know, when we go back now and read the first couple of Wings in the Night, even Rhiannon wasn't as strong then as she is now, but it was the 90s, and she was very strong for the time that she was written in. But now, if you go back, she doesn't seem as kick-ass. However, you know, Rhiannon is always kick-ass, and she's coming through in new stories now, so she gets to be even more kick-ass and keep up with the times. Thank you for that, Ashley. Good morning to Jackie, and she just wants to say thank you. I got her into reading again when she found a Wings in the Night book in 1996. Listen, all you Wings in the Night fans, if you like Wings in the Night, if you like that Maggie Shayne voice, which is a very different Maggie Shayne voice from what you see in the Westerns and the contemporary stuff, but if you like that voice from Wings in the Night, you're going to love The Immortals. They're 3 books, and it's the same kind of angle, that same kind of voice, with that just epic, paranormal, mystical, powerful thing. So I started Eternity with a scene of during the 1690s in England, and I had to do some research, and there was a girl and her mother, Raven, and she's the heroine, of course, and they are dragged from their homes and put on trial for witchcraft, and they're being blamed for a plague that's raging through the village. And so they're put on trial for witchcraft, and the early scenes are very, very brutal and hard to read. And I've had many readers write to me and say they had to skip forward because they couldn't read those initial couple of scenes. As I was writing them, I was hit in the chest by a wrecking ball, and suddenly my heart was racing. I thought I was having a heart attack. I wound up speeding to being sped to the ER, and by the time I got there, it had stopped. But for the next several days, every time I sat down to work on that book and write that story, I think that the energy was just flowing so powerfully that it would happen again. And eventually I was diagnosed with it's a little thing, it's not a big deal. It's PSVT. It means basically your heart starts racing for no apparent reason. It's a little electrical thing, and it doesn't do harm. It's not going to kill me. It's nothing like that, and I pretty much have it under control. But I've always kind of felt that it was the energy of that book that triggered the thing. And a lot of other people felt that energy too. My best male friend, David Norris. Hi, David, if you're watching, out in Flint, Michigan, and I hope he's not drinking the water. But he read the book before we had even met. And he contacted me, and he had felt the most powerful sense that the gallows scene, that he was there. He had been there in a past life. And I think there may be something to that. Several people have felt that way. And of course, this was during the time of the witch hysteria, which you know, I refer to as the women's Holocaust. Really, it was the genocide of the female of the species, and a nice excuse to try to keep us in our place. God, you didn't want women to have power, for heaven's sakes, especially not magical power. That's all spooky. So, Eternity, that's that book. And the book spans the first half of the book spans the 1690s in England and in the U.S. also in the colonies. And it's just fun. It's intense. It's dramatic. The love relationship between the two there couldn't be more conflict. He was a student priest that was there at her execution, although it turns out she's immortal. So the execution doesn't work quite the way it's planned, and I won't give away too much more than that. But you can get Eternity free right now in any ebook format in just about any country in the world. If I can get it free there, it's free there. So I hope that you'll look for that, and make sure you look for Eternity by Maggie Shayne. And the links, again, are being in the comments. My daughter has posted them all here in the comments for you so that you can find the book at the retailer of your choice. So Eternity, really good. Another thing that inspired this book, and I have to admit this, I don't lie to you guys. The TV series Highlander, Duncan MacLeod from the Clan MacLeod, and there can be only one. And I loved the Highlander series. I loved the films, and I loved the TV series, and a lot of this was inspired. Now, I didn't copy, but they are immortal, and there are darker immortals trying to get the immortals that are the lighter immortals. So there's a conflict there. You need conflict for a good story, and that's where the similarities end, except for one very important thing. In order to keep my model hero in my mind, I named him Duncan. And I was working with editor Cindy Wong, who, by the way, is one of the top editors in the business. I don't know anybody smarter. She is a great, great editor. She reads everything, and she's really good. So I was working with Cindy Wong, and when I finished the book, and she loved it, and I loved it, and we were gung-ho to get it going, and I said to her, just one thing, we need to change Duncan's name. It's not really Duncan. I just named him Duncan, so I'd be thinking about Adrian Paul as I'm keeping him. That's what he's supposed to look like. It helps me to have an actor in mind, you know, that I model the books after. And she said, no, we can't change his name. I love Duncan. He's got to stay Duncan. So we didn't change the name. So I'm thinking it's not as obvious now as it was back then, because then the Highlander series was on, and, you know, people are comparing. But now I think it's old enough that only, you know, us wise women are familiar with the Highlander and how much we loved it. I want to say good morning to Cheyenne, who is reading it now but hasn't finished it yet. It says she's loving it. And to Lila, hello. Yeah, cool, Highlander. Luz, hello, Luz, you're back. She loved the Highlander series too. So further inspiration from the Highlander series was the character from book 2, Ariana. She was very, even more loosely influenced by, what was her name, Highlander fans? The blonde. That was really his, you know, the one he was supposed to be with. Not the one he was with, the mortal that eventually died, but the other immortal. What was her name? She was the one. She inspired book 2. And it's been so long I can't remember her name. You know, up until very recently, I had the entire Highlander TV series plus all the movies in VHS stacked up against the walls of my office. I recently, I gave them away. I found somebody who really, really wanted them and loved them, and some of them were still in the wrappers. I hadn't even opened them, and then, you know, who has a VCR anymore? Well, a few of us do, but we won't admit it. However, I got rid of those. But when I got them, I got the Highlander swords too, and I still have those, so I'm not parting with my swords. So that's a little bit about Eternity and Infinity, and the third book in this series was, Eternity, let's see, yes, Infinity was book 2, and then Destiny was book 3, and they still have the same titles. You'll be able to find them just easily, and especially if you just go to my website, MaggieShayne.com, and click on the Paranormal Romances tab. It'll take you right to the page that has all of them. But again, the links are being posted here. So book 3, Destiny, That one was even harder to write, because that one that was Nidaba, and Nidaba had been the villain from book 2, and she was pretty badass. And so I had to, you know, kind of redeem her, figure out a way to explain why she's bad. She has good reason. And good morning, Lana. And do that for her. So that was a challenging book to write. You'll notice in all these books, I did some really experimental uses of point of view. I did some first person, I did some third person, I did some mixed first and third person. These were really, I was stretching my writing chops to the max to make these unique and unusual, and, you know, just to make them sparkle. I really, really put a lot of effort into these books. And they're big, long books. This was the word count for these was between 90 to 100,000 words. So these are nice, big, fat, chunky, you know, books. There's a lot of book there. So, and again, this one is free in ebook, and the link is in the comments. So there's all that, and there goes all my stuff. Okay. Now, there is a little known 4th story in this series. You don't see it linked on my site right now because I am in the process. I'm preparing for the process. I haven't dove into it yet, but it's going to happen soon. I'm going to expand it into a full-length novel and re-release it. But if you can't wait and you're dying to see what this story is, and you'll get it again anyway, it was a novella. It was called Immortality, and Berkley originally released it in an anthology with Nora Roberts. The anthology was called Out of This World, and Nora was the headliner. And I can't remember who all else was in it. There were a couple of other authors and myself in there, and we were very lucky to be included in an anthology with Nora. I probably made more off that than I did off the rest of the series combined, just because, you know, riding Nora's shirt tails. I think it sold 400,000 copies. So that was really good. And then Berkley re-released it in this tiny little skinny little experimental paperback version that they sold for $2.99. That's pretty much what my full price books are. But that's okay, Berkley. It costs more to print. I know that. So this was in grocery stores. It was an experiment they did, and it sold like hotcakes. But because it's in that anthology with Nora, they won't give me back the rights. They don't want to have to tweak the anthology. They want to just keep releasing it as it is and making money, and I don't blame them, bottom line stuff. However, there's nothing in the contract that forbids me from rewriting this little tiny bit of a story into this size of a story. See? Compare spines. Yeah, I can do that, and I will. And I always felt that this story deserved to be bigger. This story, oh, this is so fun. This story also takes a villain, and it was Cindy Wong who challenged me to do this. Queen Puabi, this is a real historical figure from ancient Sumer, and she really wasn't evil. I really don't know too much about her personal life because there's not a lot, you know, on the record. They're still translating hundreds and hundreds, thousands of little stone tablets with writing from ancient Sumer. So we don't know a lot of details about Puabi, but we have her crown. We have her crown, and I saw her crown in person in New York City at the Met when there was a traveling Sumerian artifact display. I happened to be in New York at the same time that display was. I don't think that was a coincidence at all. And I got to see the crown of Queen Puabi, which I described in the book. I had looked at photos of it, and I had described it in great detail in the book, and I was so excited to be able to go to this museum and to see this crown. And I begged them please to let me put my hands on it, but they wouldn't. It was in a glass case, and I couldn't do that. I did get to put my hands on some of the other Sumerian artifacts that had big do not touch signs all around them. I actually put my hand on a big chunk of a wall that was all engraved with carvings that was excavated from Sumer, and I had no choice. I think I might have been there, and it was like, even if not, putting your hands on something that hands of people 4,000 to 5,000 years ago were also touching. There was just something so powerful about that. So I cheated a little bit, and I put my hands on it, and I didn't get thrown in museum jail. So if that's any, I'm glad about that. So Queen Puabi, also was a villainess in a previous book, and I had to make her into a heroine. And it was even harder because she was one of the dark high witches. She was one of the dark ones that is, you know, they're just really pure evil. So that's that. So there are 4 stories in this series. You can find Eternity for free at every retailer there is right now in ebook. You can find Infinity and Destiny priced at, I believe, $4.99 each, which is about as low as I could go on books of this size. And then you can still get Immortality from Berkeley. You can look it up on Amazon, or get the anthology Out of This World, headlined by Nora Roberts. You'll see it in there, but look for it next year, because Immortality is going to become a great big fat juicy novel, just like the other 3, and it will be released by me, by my little imprint, Thunderfoot Publishing, in 2017. And we're really, really excited about diving back into that world. And who knows, once I'm in there, I might get inspired to write a 5th book. I did leave Immortality's ending with an opening for me to get back in. I tend to do that with series I just love. I leave something that gives me a way to get back in. So I have the doorway's open, I can get back in there and write a future one. And we'll have to come up with a title together. You guys will have to throw out, you know, Eternity, Infinity, Destiny, Immortality. We need an ITY word that is similar. So you guys, I'll be posting on my Facebook page and asking for your input for that. So we'll come up with a title together. We'll do cover design together. I just love having you guys input. Oh, and stay tuned on my Facebook page today. Later this afternoon, there will be a new cover reveal for Twilight Guardians. We've done a little tweaking on that cover, which features my youngest daughter, Lisa, as the model. And Jessica, my book formatter daughter, and I have been tweaking that cover out, so we have that ready to show you this afternoon. So you'll get a big cover reveal today. That'll be a lot of fun. So that's a little bit about the Immortals, the series The Immortals. It's the most epic, unusual, emotional, sexy series of anything I've ever written, I think. And I hope that you'll grab Eternity while it's free. And read it on your Kindles and Nooks and Kobo devices and things like that, your iPads and iPods and iPhones and your Androids. So that's it for today. Now, I will be back here on Monday. On Monday, it is Storytellers Masterclass. And writers out there, we're going to talk about marketing and promotion. We're going to talk about free book giveaways. I'm going to give you some of my secrets for how I'm doing well at this. So I hope that you'll tune in on Monday morning at 10 a.m. for the Storytellers Masterclass. On Wednesday at 10 a.m. it will be the Law of Attraction Masterclass. And then a week from today on Friday, we'll be back here with Book Talk. And again, I don't know what series we're talking about next week, but I'll let you know on my Facebook page. So give the little follow button a tick if you haven't already. Give my Facebook page a like. And also be aware that if you sign up for my newsletter, there's a little sign up button on the top of my Facebook page. Sign up for that. You get links to 6 free titles instantly for signing up. So, and there's no catch. There's nothing to buy. And once a month I send a newsletter out. It's really not even, you know, bothersome. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Jana, hi Jana. And look for those links and comments and grab your free book. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.